Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, the two titans of investing, have done it again. They're absolutely amazing. Now, every single year, they have like the Woodstock, like they're where they worship these two guys, and they go to the Berkshire annual meeting. Now, it's a who's who of capitalism. It's sometimes very hard to get in. You got to get a ticket, and everyone wants to be there, but everybody is hanging on to every word from these two guys that are well into their 90s. And so I like looking at these guys, and they have such wisdom when they're looking at things long term. Now, if you want to bring up AI to him, he's not really interested. He's interested in things that he understands really, really well. People need toothpaste. I'm going to invest into people needing to buy toothpaste. I'm going to buy a toothpaste company, something that he understands really, really well. So there's some things that I think that we can learn from him, from how he's positioning himself right now, because the economy is in serious trouble. So if we look at Warren Buffett, he dumped $13 billion worth of stocks. Now, 13 billion. That's a lot of dough that they're getting rid of. $13 billion. So you got to ask yourself, what does he know that you don't know? Why is he doing that? That's a lot of money. So Warren Buffett, his firm, Berkshire Hathaway, that he runs with Charlie Munger, sold billions of dollars worth just in the first 3 months of the year. Remember that they don't have to report in live time when they're doing something. They don't have to do that. But every 90 days, they have to make a filing with the SEC to let them know what we've done over the past 3 months. And so when that comes out, we get a glimpse of what he's doing because of those filings, but it's not that we're getting a day-by-day, play-by-play with what he's doing necessarily. So the trio revealed that the firm sold $13.3 billion. This is what we were talking about. And what did he do? Berkshire instead invested $4.4 billion in repurchasing its own stock. Okay, so look at that. As Warren Buffett and his entire team is looking around for deals, they're looking around for deals. They're looking for companies every day to put that money. I don't remember the exact number. He gets something like 20, 30, $50 million a day that's coming in, and he has to try to buy something that makes sense. But here it is, when he's looking around, he's investing in his own company because that is his conviction, that he's buying his own shares. As we are heading into a time of the great unknown, and I know that everybody right now thinks everything is rosy and it's over, but it's not. We are in this complacency phase right now, as we're going to see the effects of the lag effect of those interest rates that have been hitting us one after the other 10 times in a row in the United States, 8 times in Canada. Inflation is going to be around a long time, even though we know they won't report the full amount of it. But as this guy is doing, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they're investing in themselves. So for you guys, for me, when you go into a time that is bad, it is some of the best times for you to be able to buy a property and open a business yourself. So when you have properties, you don't just get paid rent. You get appreciation, depreciation, amortization. You get a lot of extra special benefits when you do this. So, invest in skills for yourselves now so that you're going to be really, really prepared as we move forward. So that is my first lesson, is invest in yourself. Okay. That's my first point that I wanted to bring up with you. Now, they're mentioning in the past year, the U.S. money supply measured by M2 money supply. So there's a couple different ones, but not to get mixed up in the weeds here. The amount of cash that is available out there, it says that right now it contracted. It went down 4.1%. This flip from expansion to contraction is the steepest adjustment post-war U.S. history. Okay, so I understand that you're measuring how much cash is there. So how big is that issue? If you go over to Fred economic data, this is straight away from the Federal Reserve in the United States, the M2 money supply, guys, if you watch this, it has gone up and up and up since the 80s. It's gone way, way, way up. 2020 happened. It went absolutely parabolic, like a SpaceX rocket flying straight up. But where are they concerned? If you take a look, this little dip that is happening right here, that little dip, this is what's causing all the panic. You would think on this chart, you guys probably didn't even see that, right? If we zoom out just to 1 year, though, you can see that it is going down. But if you look overall, I mean, it's nothing compared to anything, but that's what's really spooking them right now. If you look at the Canadian money supply, Canadian is very, very different. We have not curtailed it at all. Canada continues to spend like drunken sailors. You can see the line where it went straight up in 2020 as they started printing, and they haven't let off the gas at all. And that is why inflation ain't going nowhere, you guys, because they are spending like crazy. All right. So for Berkshire Hathaway, also, they posted a $35 billion profit, and they raised their cash to 130 billion. Okay. Other notes for us to take away from this is because number one, huge amounts of cash reserves. When he can't find something great to buy, he is not going to buy something because he's itching to buy something. He's going to wait until the deal makes sense. So you have to ask yourself now, today, what market should I be buying in? What type of property? So you got to choose your city. Maybe you want to be in Tennessee or Georgia, or maybe you want to be in New Brunswick in Canada. You got to choose your market. What type of property? Are you looking for industrial, single family home, a multiplex? What are you trying to buy? And start educating yourself on that market now. Have you already found out what type of property rentals management companies you're going to use? What different agents are you going to use? Or if you're going to learn about AI or online, what are you going to learn today? Those skills to be ready and have that cash ready to buy something. So this is that preparation that he is doing. I love that. And that's something that I do regularly myself. So try to focus on your profit and try to keep cash on the side in order to buy an amazing deal if you can. Now, Warren Buffett was talking absolute showering praise on Apple as he was there. Now, he loves Apple. This is one comment I wanted to talk about because Apple is an amazing company. Now, Apple, he said, think about the moat, that defensive moat around a castle, that people love Apple so much that on average, when they ask people, if we paid you $10,000, would you give up all Apple products for the rest of your life? And everyone answered no. Imagine the loyalty to a company that $10,000 would not buy you away to the competition. Unbelievable loyalty that Apple has. And I'm one of them, unfortunately. So this is the glowing praise. Now, I want your business to be that much, that people will not leave you for any reason. That's the best he was talking about. The worst he was talking about, both Buffett and Munger were talking about their outlook on commercial real estate. And they said it's full of bad commercial real estate loans, and investors should expect lower expectations. So here is the problem. I did a full video on commercial real estate loans. These are massive trouble that is coming in the future. Everyone thinks that residential properties are the issue. This is nothing compared to that. When you look at a residence, the only way that they measure what the residence is worth is what an individual working schmo can pay for it. When it comes to commercial property, there's no David to find out what I make. It's what does the building make? How much rent does it make? And then it's a percentage of the rent. Now, how does that happen when you have 30%, 40%, 50% of cities empty? Some buildings are completely empty. If you have zero rent coming in from an entire tower, guess how that math pencils out? The building is worth zero. They're trying to even give some of these buildings away to people to convert them to residential, and they can't even take it. It doesn't pencil out. They don't make buildings the same way. Back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they used to build buildings in rectangles, so they would have a bunch of offices. They can easily convert that into apartments. But then we had big companies, which we didn't have before. And they wanted just an ocean of cubicles. So they built big, huge square boxes. So when the elevator door would open, you would see hundreds of cubicles. Now you can't do that because for you have to have a window for each exterior unit. Imagine a huge building. I'm looking from the top, okay? And you have these little condo units along the outsides. What on earth are you going to do with everything in the center? You can't put any units there. The only way you could do it is have like 4 massive penthouse units, and no one would ever have the money to afford it. So unfortunately, those buildings got to come down and get put up. And this is where, if you go look at commercial real estate, 50 to 80% priced down. Unbelievable. In Canada, there's $2 trillion of commercial real estate. In the United States, $20 trillion of commercial real estate. Can you imagine? That's approaching the entire GDP of the countries. And so as that mountain of debt is absorbed and all these people are going to take their hits, what did Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett say? He said, you're going to see other names on those buildings. Meaning everyone who's on it right now, they're going to take massive losses, end up selling it for a massive loss, lose a lot, and new buyers are going to come in and buy it. Don't think that commercial real estate, the losses that happen there, will not affect the other side in residential. Don't think that way. It will affect. It will all affect. So if banks go down because of that, your loans are going to be called. It's going to create a massive mess. And so I think Buffett and Charlie, man, these guys are such unique people, and we love having them around. Now, they're also asked many things about gold, for example, about Bitcoin, for example. And when they're asked about these things, they tell you, I wouldn't buy all the Bitcoin on earth for $25. He says, like, what on earth would I do with it? What would I do with it? He says, like, stare at it. It doesn't make anything. It doesn't create anything. Also, I talk to you about gold all the time. I like gold. He doesn't like gold. I like Bitcoin. He doesn't like Bitcoin. But I can't, I don't put all of my money into one of those things, just a little bit, just to be a little bit more diversified. So I guess I'm going against him that way. But if we take a look at what's been happening with the stock market overall, if you take a look at SPY for the S&P 500, if we go back to where it starts in 1993, $44, look at where it is now, 412. That's very close to 10x your money, 1,000% since 1993. That is pretty good. If we look at Berkshire Hathaway since 93, let's go back to 93 for our gentleman. He went from 17,000 up to where is it now? 500,000. So what is that? It's 25 times your money. Okay. So this guy is killing it. He's way more. And if you go way back to where he started, look at this chart in 83. This is ridiculous. 900. So let's call it $1,000, $970 back in 1983. That's 493 times your money. So, it looks really good at the beginning part of the ramp, but if you actually fast forward and, you do in the past 10, 15 years, he's pretty steady with the S&P 500. It's the same trajectory on the S&P 500, but he took off. And remember, when you have little amounts of money, you could really make some amazing moves. And so that is my last lesson for the day. So for you and me, we're very, very different than Warren Buffett. If he needs to make a move, he needs to buy $4 billion, $10 billion of money to buy these stocks. That moves the market like crazy. Me and you, we can't really do that, right? We don't have that much money, but we can have opportunities to go in and out really, really quickly. And we could buy the amount of shares we want in a couple minutes, and we could get the price really low. If Warren Buffett tried to buy $10 billion worth of shares for Coca-Cola in one day, the price would go to the moon. So they kind of got to do it in secret over weeks and months and collect a position without affecting the price too much. So I think that is a good lesson for us, is when we're small, we can be a very, very, very nimble. I think we can learn a lot of lessons from Warren Buffett. Good, bad, take it all. He's one of the most successful traders of all time. He's worth like $80 billion or something like that. So I think that we got to take that away with us. Have cash on the side, invest in ourselves, invest in what invest in companies that have a defensible moat or like very, very good brand loyalty. Making sure my take, I want a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver in there as well. And look at things in a very long time horizon. Because he said like 30 years ago, you would never have been able to guess the top 10 companies in the United States. You wouldn't have been able to guess them. And so 30 years from today, you're not going to be able to guess them either. So he's like, be willing to move. We're going to slip in and slip out, make our money if we can, and keep on learning from people like Warren Buffett. I think that we're going to do really, really amazing if we do that. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic night. Stay safe, keep on crushing it, and please like and subscribe to this video. It helps out the channel a lot. Have a good night.